Hello, Trojan fans. For USCFootball.com, I'm Jack Smith, joined by a special guest today joining us after USC's Thursday practice. We've got tight end Lake McRee on a special edition of Tunnel Vision here in the USC Village. Lake, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So back-to-back games with 4 catches for you. How do you feel like your season has gone so far, and has it lived up to the expectations maybe you had for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, last week didn't go as we planned. We always want to come out with a win. So, winning is the biggest thing to me, despite the stats. So that's the biggest thing. But it's cool to do that sometimes. But always want to come out with a win.
It's a couple tough stretch for you guys with a couple losses in a row. 3 out of the last 4. How do you feel like the team has handled those, and what's the mindset of the team this week in the locker room?
Yeah, I think the team's handled it really well. We really harp on just taking it 1 week at a time. Regardless of the result of the week before. So whether we win the week before, we're gonna attack the next week really hard. Whether we lose, we're going to attack it the same way. So I think Coach Riley's really good at he's instilled that in us. So that's something that the team has kind of embraced, and we've just gone 1 week at a time and just prepared for each opponent and not looked ahead, not looked behind. So I think that we're doing that this week, and I think it's going to be a great game up there in Oregon.
We want to thank House of Victory for setting these up. It's been one in a long line of times we've got to interview different players on the Trojans, and there's a QR code if you want to donate to House of Victory. It goes straight to the players and helps them out. How do you feel like you've been helped out by House of Victory specifically?
Yeah, House of Victory has been great, not only for me but for the whole team. It being such a new thing with NIL, I think it's really deserving that these college athletes are getting, and House of Victory has been great for not just football, but all the other sports. So it's really been a blessing for them to come into my life and come to all my other teammates and athletes' lives. So it's been really cool.
It seems like they've helped bring your family into the stands as well. What does it mean for you to get to see them on the weekends, know that they're in the stands watching you play? What has that meant to you?
Yeah, I'm from Texas, so it's not too cheap to come out here, and being in Los Angeles, the hotels aren't too cheap either. So. House of Victory has definitely helped with that, and I've got to see my family every single home game and on a majority of the away games. So it's been really big for me. I'm a big family guy, so getting to see them every weekend has been really cool.
Galen Bullock was telling us sometimes you guys get to go to team dinners in some of the nice restaurants in Los Angeles, and then the waiter comes around and picks one of the credit cards out from the bowl. Have you been to one of those, and have they ever selected your card?
No, I haven't been to those. Thank God I haven't, because I know when they do that, it's a lot of people there, and Kalen, when he goes out to those dinners, it's not a shortage of people. So I'm glad I haven't been to those where I know that'd be a lot of money. So let's just say I'm glad that I haven't had to spend that bag yet.
I'm glad that you mentioned that you're from Texas. I'm curious because I feel like everyone has a different answer. What to you makes high school football in Texas so special?
I just think how it's brought up when you're younger. I think it's kind of like it's not really a choice. It's either you're a football player or you're not. It's kind of, people say it's like a religion out there. So it's very serious. And I've always grown up around it, and me and my whole family has. So I haven't been to many high school games out here, so I don't know what the atmosphere is like. I don't know if it's too different, but I know we do it differently in Texas.
Lake Travis, obviously a great school. You played with some great players, played against some great players. I was reading this interesting story about how you played quarterback as a freshman, and then were maybe aiming at being a quarterback, and your coaches sat you down and talked you into being a tight end. I'm curious, as you kind of look back on that, what was that conversation like, and how do you view it now with the perspective of knowing where it got you and where you've ended up?
Yeah, so growing up, I think I started playing football around first grade. That's like flag football or whatever, but I was always a quarterback. Going into middle school, I was playing tackle football. I was always a quarterback. So quarterback was always my position. I go to Lake Travis High School. Freshman year, I played quarterback. I was on the freshman B team. And we had a guy that, had been in the system. He was on the freshman A team, so he was kind of my competitor. I'm good friends with him now because, I became his tight end. But Lake Travis has always been like a really big high school for having great quarterbacks. So we had Hudson Card above me, who's now at Purdue. He was at Texas, now at Purdue, who's a really great quarterback. And then Nate Yarnell, who's at Pitt right now. So I kind of, after that freshman year, I was like, if I do, grind this out, I'll get 1 year, and I'd have to, be in a big position battle for this 1 year. So I knew I was an athlete. The coach was like, look, we think you're too athletic to just be sitting on the sidelines until your senior year. So what do you think about trying out a new position? So I tried out tight end, and it definitely wasn't a smooth transition. It definitely took some getting used to, and, props to all the coaches at Lake Travis. They made the transition much easier than it probably would have been without them. But yeah, after spring ball and going through a bunch of summer stuff with them and just kind of learning the position. And I will say playing quarterback did make tight end easier, kind of knowing where I needed to be and stuff like that, especially in that offense. But, yeah, and then, the recruiting started to pick up, and, yeah, now I'm here.
Baker Mayfield went to Lake Travis too, is that right?
Yeah, he did. I've thrown with Baker a couple times, when he's there in the off season. So it's super cool to have him around and kind of see his perspective. And now that Coach Riley's here, we've both been under Coach Riley, so that's something that we've kind of talked about when I throw with him in the off season. So yeah, it's cool to see him around.
And I know your high school coach said that you could one of those quarterbacks that could throw it as far as anyone. Is that still true?
Yeah, I definitely like to think it's true. Ever since Coach Riley got here, I've always been trying to convince him to do a double pass with me throwing it. So hopefully it'll come sometime. But yeah, I think I still got a pretty good arm.
You guys had one of those interesting trick plays this weekend that Coach Riley draws up, the one with Zachariah Branch running the reverse and the flea flicker. What was your perspective of that play that obviously ended in the touchdown?
That play was interesting because that was one of the plays that it's kind of me one-on-one with one of their best defensive ends. So it was kind of just go out there and just block him for as long as you can, let Zach dance for a little bit. He's going to flip it back to Caleb and then throw a touchdown. So it was interesting because we never really got the look that we wanted to running it in practice. It was always kind of like, we could do this better, but we called it in the game. I think everyone had full confidence that it was going to go to perfection, and we scored on it, so I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing, you're running around trying to block as many people as possible. It's like one of those plays that you just need an extra second of time, and obviously it worked out for you guys. Yeah. I'm curious kind of to switch over to just being a tight end. You guys have one of the smaller rooms, on the team with the tight ends, especially when you guys travel. It's only a couple of you guys, and, Coach Hansen takes the photo after every game saying he's, proud of that group. And since it is a smaller group, I'm curious as to how you would perceive and how you would describe the bond between you guys.
Yeah, it's a smaller group, but it's a great room of guys. And, since it's a smaller group, we're all so tight. I would say everyone in that room is some of my closest friends on the team. So it's cool to have a guys that you're just going out there with every Saturday that you're really close with, and that I have their back and they have mine. So, even though it's a small room, we all know each other really well, and, it's fun to go out there with those guys.
Your reaction when Jude scored his touchdown at Colorado, you were all over him, jumping up and down. What did it mean to you to see him score, and can you describe that moment for us?
Yeah, Jude's a warrior, man, so that moment was really cool. I know it was cool for him. I know he had a lot of his family there, so that was cool, it being an away game. But I kind of got knocked over. I was on the backside. I was blocking, and I was like on my backside, and I looked out of the corner of my eye, and I saw Jude catch it, and I got up as fast as I could to go celebrate with him because I was so excited for him. It was a really cool moment, and, it couldn't have happened to anyone better.
Lincoln said you were physically so much further ahead going into this season when he compared it to 12 months ago to going into the past season. Do you feel like you took a big physical jump this year?
Yeah, I have to give all credit to Coach Wiley with that kind of stuff, and obviously Coach Hansen as well with just like being fundamentally more sound in the run and pass game with pass blocking. But yeah, that was like a big thing going into this summer, and then the off-season training. Just I need to get bigger, faster, stronger, and I think it's paid off. But I still got a long ways to go in the upcoming off season, so I'm excited to get back and work with them.
What does some of that off season training and nutrition look like for you?
A lot of lifting, a lot of running, but it's kind of what Coach Wiley's really good at is just making it like position specific. So like I'm not going to be expected to work the same drills as like Zachariah Branch and Taj Washington, but me and Jude will be doing the same stuff in Tabo, and like all the tight ends, we'll be doing position-specific stuff, and that's something that we implemented this summer, where we had all the tight ends meet up once a day in off-season, no coach, no nothing, just kind of player-led and walking through drills. And I think not that only helped me, but it also helped younger kids like Kate Eldridge and Tabo, who are new to the position, and kind of get a head start going into like fall camp or just knowing something about the position before like getting a full go. So we did stuff like that, and I think that was really good for us.
What could you take from your transition as a freshman in high school, switching to tight end, and apply that to teaching some of these younger guys to play the position?
Yeah, I think I see a lot of myself in Cade. I don't even think he really played tight end in high school, so I kind of understand the transition that he was going through. Like when I lined up for the first time at tight end, my stance didn't look pretty either. So, but he's really transitioned really well, and I'm proud of him. And it's been cool to kind of take him under my wing and kind of show him the ways as like people did to me when I was a freshman here at USC with like Eric Cromenhoek and Josh Follow and the older guys. So it's been kind of cool to take on that role. I didn't think it would come this soon. The first meeting we had, and Coach Hansen kind of looked at me and Jude, and he's like, "Y'all are the old guys now." And I was like, that came pretty fast because I didn't feel like an old guy. So that's definitely something I've been working on, is taking on that role.
Where do you feel like you can still grow in this offense and at the position specifically, going forward these next couple years?
Yeah, I mean, I can obviously grow in a lot of ways, but I think just consistency, being more versatile on all ways, being a really consistent blocker, but still being able to maintain my speed and being able to be a really good pass-catching tight end. So I think just consistency is the biggest word for me.
What's made you comfortable out here in Southern California, and what made you comfortable making the move from Texas to SoCal, and how much do you like it out here?
Yeah, I actually, it was interesting because my main recruitment was during COVID, so, there was no visits, no anything, but I've been to Los Angeles a bunch of times. I have an uncle that lives out here. He's lived out here for lots of years now, so I've definitely been out here a lot visiting him. He lives in Culver City, so that definitely made it easy, just having some sort of family out here, being from Texas is a long way from home, so that was definitely easy. And then before COVID hit, I came here my sophomore year for a camp, not really a visit, so I was a little bit familiar with it. And then once I got settled out here, there was definitely a transition period just coming out here, being far away from home, and it was COVID, but once I got through that, it was all smooth.
One of my coworkers said that you've kind of in a unique position to answer this question, settle the debate a little bit. Waterburger versus InNOut, what's your pick?
Being from Texas, people always ask me this because, that's like the biggest debate out here, but I say they're not comparable because I don't get the burger from Waterburger. I'm getting like the patty melt or the chicken strip sandwich. I'll say InNOut has a better burger. Waterburger has more better. It has better everything else. Like when I go to Waterburger, it's going to be like late night, like 11 plus, and it's going to be like I'm ordering off the breakfast menu. You can't do that at InNOut. So,
what is your InNOut order?
InNOut order, I'm going double, no tomatoes, no onions, animal style, and then I'm going to get the fries animal style too, and then I'll get like a cheeseburger too. I don't go to InNOut a lot, but when I do, I do it right.
You make it worth it a little bit?
Yeah, have to.
It seems like you're a shoe guy. You got a big shoe collection. When did you develop a passion for shoes?
I've always been a shoe guy, man. I can remember back in like middle school, there was like a pair of Kobe's coming out, and that was like my first real obsession with shoes, where it was like, I don't really need this pair of shoes, because prior to then, I would just get the shoes that I like when I needed them because I would run out of shoes. But I remember there was these Kobe's releasing, and I was like, I have to have these, and I was just like obsessed with them. I printed a picture offline. I put a picture in my room, and that it could just kind of started from there. I remember with that first pair, you get another one, and then after that, you kind of it turns into a snowball effect, and I have too many shoes to count now. So, but I think that's always kind of been something for me that's kind of made me a little bit different is the clothes and shoes that I like to wear.
How would you define your personal style?
I say unique. I think it's not really like anyone else's. I mean, it's maybe similar to some, but I kind of like to do my own thing when it comes to that kind of stuff. I know it's nothing too crazy, nothing too flashy, but I just like to do that kind of stuff.
Do you have a favorite pair of shoes, or one that you're maybe actively searching for right now?
Actively searching? I've actually been pretty good this whole year. I haven't really bought too many shoes this year. That's probably because I already have all the ones that I want, which is not great because I do have a lot of shoes. My favorite pair of shoes of all time, I have to say the Travis Scott 1 Jordan Lows, or the Travis Scott 1 Highs, just because Travis Scott's my favorite artist, being from Texas also. So that collaboration of shoes and my favorite artists, I've always really liked both. So I'd probably say those.
I don't want to make you pick between a bunch, but who would you say are your most stylish teammates? That's going to start a locker room war because, a lot of people take that personally. I mean, it's hard to not say Caleb, but Caleb gets his shine in that, so I'm going to refrain from saying that. Stylish. I like how Mason Cobb dresses. I think he has a good style. Zach Branch. There's a lot of guys, man. It's hard to choose. I'll give you one more. I'm trying to think of someone that Josiah Zamora. A lot of people probably wouldn't say that, but sometimes when we come down to pregame meal, when we're all dressed up, Josiah throws some pretty significant stuff on. I was like, I've definitely never seen anyone on our team or really anywhere wear that kind of stuff. So he's really unique in what he wears. All right, we've got some questions that fans sent in. Are you good if we kind of rattle a couple of those off before we round it out? So California says, who's your closest friend on the team, and who on the defense are you closest to?
Closest friend on the team, I'd say Michael Jackson. He's a receiver, obviously. I lived with him for a little bit. We both live by ourselves now, but I'd say he's my closest friend. We kind of came in together, have been together through the coaching changes and all of the stuff like that. So been through thick and thin with him. I'll say him. And then defense, Probably Kalen. Kind of the same reason. Kalen Bullock. Came in together, went through all this stuff together. Me and Kalen always joke around with each other on the field, like when he's guarding me during practice and stuff. So it's fun to go out there and compete with him. He's one of the greatest in the nation. So it's really good to go against him.
Touchdown 5 says, who's your favorite player growing up?
Favorite player? Football player?
Or any sport, I guess.
Football player. I'm a big Texans fan. So growing up, I was always DeAndre Hopkins guy. Basketball, even though I'm not from Los Angeles, I got to go Kobe. When I was younger, I was starting to look at like NBA teams. I was probably like 8, and I saw a team that had my name in it, the Lakers. So at 8 years old, I made a consecutive decision that was going to be my team. And I know it probably sounds like a bandwagon, but that's actually how I ended up being a Kobe and a Lakers fan.
SC the One says, how do you think your blocking has improved?
I think it's improved fundamentally, and that goes to all credit to the coaches, especially Coach Hansen. He's really harped on, being fundamentally better in the blocking game, and he's really helped me and all the other tight ends work after practice on the small fundamentals that you won't really get in like live practice reps that you kind of need to like slow down a little bit. So I think I've become more fundamental blocker, and I still have a long way to go on that route, but that's what I'd say I'd improve on.
Graxton says, your receptions and yards have more than doubled from last year. Were you aware that your role would expand this year and that you'd be more involved in the passing game?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm aware, but my exit meeting with Coach Riley, he told me, he's like, I don't see why you couldn't be one of the guys that takes one of the biggest jumps in the offense. So I'm not like completely shocked by it. I know what I bring to the table. I know what kind of player I am. I know what I'm capable of, and I feel like there was flashes of it my freshman year and small flashes of it last year, and so I'm not too shocked by it, but it's cool to see that my numbers have doubled like that. But like I said, I care about winning, and we need to do that a little bit better.
We've got one more, and then we've got another kind of final one. Fake Pete Carroll, kind of a random one, says, what is your favorite cereal?
Cereal. Ooh, I'm not a big cereal guy. I don't think I've had cereal in a long time, but if I had to pick cereal, I'd probably just go with like Fruit Loops. Yeah.
Trojan Kevin, this is the final one, said, how did people in your community react to you leaving for California? And then he also says, do you have a favorite football movie? Okay,
I'll start with the movies. That's a shorter answer. Favorite football movie is Blindside by far. That was a movie that I watched when I was younger, and I watch it probably annually. So, and then how did
your community react to you leaving Texas for California?
Yeah, so that was a little bit rougher. Going into my junior year, I committed to the University of Texas. I was committed there for a year, and maybe some change. So I was committed there for a while. That's the hometown. That's where I wanted to go my whole life. That's where my quarterback was going. A lot of my friends were going. And then after some time, I decided to step off my commitment and then go to USC, which is not a rival, but there's some history between those two schools. So I definitely. People that I wasn't close to definitely let me know how they felt about that decision on social media. But, the people that I care about and the people that care about me were really supportive of my decision. They knew that whatever was going to make me happy was going to make them happy.
What was it that ultimately sold you on USC to leave Texas?
When this place is rolling, there's no other place like it, I think it was kind of a sleeping giant, but if the right people are here and the right people that we do have here, it's really going to be a place like no other.
Maybe you guys didn't reach your expectations this season, but you've got 2 more games left. What are you hoping to, see from the guys and put out there yourself these final 2 weeks?
Just one game at a time. We got to treat this game upcoming like our whole season relies on it, because it does. So I think everyone's really bought into going up to Oregon and just playing our best game. And I think we have a really, really good tunnel vision right now. And I think we know we need to go up there and just play our best football.
I'm not sure if you know, tunnel vision's the name of the show, so it feels like that's kind of like poetic there to finalize the show. So Lake, thank you so much for joining. It was really great to get to talk to you. And unless you have any final thoughts, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you guys all for tuning in. It's really great to get to talk to these players. Thank you to House of Victory again. They're the one that provide the chances to interview the guys. So there's a QR code on the screen if you want to donate to House of Victory. The proceeds go to the players, helps them out, obviously, as you heard Lake say. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you're hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and leaving a comment. But anyways, I'm Jack Smith, joined here by Lake McRee, and we'll see you guys next time.